Do you like cheating? Can you even cheat in Animal Crossing New Horizons? Is that a thing? It's kind of a single-player game. Most of the time. Well, today, that's what we're talking about. Obviously, everything I say in this video is... It's my opinion! With the exception of one specific topic where I consulted with some incredible experts. Please know that my intention is not to upset anyone or guilt anyone for how they choose to play the game. Truthfully, as long as no one is harmed by what you do, there really isn't a wrong way to play Animal Crossing. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and alright, let's get controversial! Right off the bat, I want to talk about something that I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with: visiting treasure islands. I love how they can help speed up your island designing process because you can find pretty much everything you could ever want with arguably relative ease, but that's also where my annoyance comes into play. See, there are two types of treasure islands. Free islands that generally have long wait times, and paid islands where you have to pay real money to access virtual items with essentially no real financial value outside of the little economy world that has sprouted up around this game. This is a problem because either way, whether with your time or with your wallet, you have to pay in order to access this playstyle option, especially since to visit treasure islands you'll also need a Nintendo Online membership. This paywall creates an unfair playing experience for players who aren't able to afford the costs. And there's another potential problem. Even if you are able to afford visiting treasure islands, there's a chance that you could find yourself burning out from the game faster. By speedrunning through the process of gathering crafting materials and DIYs, you're denying yourself a significant aspect of the game, which generally emphasizes the journey over the destination. Personally, I will continue to use treasure islands, but before you hop on the treasure island bandwagon, I encourage you to consider what type of experience you want to create for yourself. Make the choice you feel is best for you. This next kind of questionable cheat is one that I'm sure many of us are already well aware of. The max spell glitch hack thing? I'm actually not really sure what it is exactly, but it's often available on treasure islands, so I thought I'd just squish the two of them together. I think it's safe to say we'd all like to be millionaires, but I suppose most of us will just have to settle for being billionaires. The way this Animal Crossing loophole works, as I understand it, is you visit certain treasure islands and they have a little spot by their nook's cranny with a bunch of turnips. You take a bundle and you sell them to Timmy or to Tommy, and you'll get this little screen that pops up. Then, when you return to your own island and check your ABD at the Nook Stop machine, it should be maxed out. Again, this is one of those things that could either be a huge time saver for you and make your experience a billion times better, or it could rob you of some of the achievements that the game has to offer. I did it. I love it, and I'll likely continue to do it whenever I feel the need to. But that's just me. You do you. For this next playstyle that some people may consider cheating, I reached out to 3 incredibly kind and creative players and asked them some questions about their own experiences with modding. Let's find out what they had to say about this lesser-known potential locked away in the game. Perhaps you'll discover that it's something you'd like to dabble in, too. First, we'll set the scene by taking a moment to understand what modding is. Ruby Crossing explained that modding is a way of modifying or manipulating the in-game files and pushing the boundaries of the game's capabilities. In other words, as Anemo Crossing put it, modding is making alterations to the software that allows for an experience that is otherwise not originally intended by the game's designer. To be able to mod, its MLaw explained that only certain early generation switches are moddable. Now let's segue into what modding can allow you to do. Ruby Crossing mentioned that modding in Animal Crossing can mean a variety of different things. Some people use modding to create treasure islands, do wide-angle photography, and to perform certain actions that are not available in the normal game, such as customizing textures and colors of furniture. Its MLaw shared it would be impossible to name everything modding allows you to do, and part of the fun is discovering new features. For example, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, I'm able to terraform on higher levels, add extra bridges and inclines, replace villagers, and the list goes on. Anemo Crossing really surprised me by saying that they can walk through walls, be invisible, and can even change the camera angles in the game. The main risks to modding that these three players all touched on were that you could potentially break your Switch, get banned from online services, and if you release a dream address for a modded island, it could potentially get taken down if someone were to report it to Nintendo. Now, there is a whole lot more that I could share about modding, but I just don't have the time to do that in this video. I will, however, include some additional links that you can explore in the description if you'd like to learn more about modding yourself. But to end this segment of the video, I want to share a little bit about what these players enjoy about this lesser-known playstyle. Anemo Crossing said, "It makes playing Animal Crossing New Horizons a bit more convenient and fun because there's just so much more stuff that you can do." Ruby Crossing wrote, "I love the fact that we can push the boundaries of the game and create things that we didn't know were possible." And they also shared a word of caution, saying, "My advice would be, unless you are really, really bored with the game, don't do modding. Once you have a modded game, everything is available at the tip of your fingers, and it takes away from what the game is really about." And it's Emlaw shared, "The first thing I did was create a treasure island. I love that I'm able to help the Animal Crossing community by providing unlimited free items. I also enjoy that I'm able to push my creativity to the limits by manipulating items and creating builds that wouldn't be possible without mod." They also shared with me a beautiful hope for the future. "I hope that one day, modding can be normalized and modders will be able to share their creations without fear of being reported." Animal Crossing New Horizons is about creating, sharing, and enjoying the game however you choose to play it. I've spoken about time travel extensively in a whole separate video, which you can watch by clicking the card in the corner, so I won't go too deeply into it here, but honestly, of all the little game cheats, time travel seems to be the most controversial. Some players, like myself, swear by time traveling and appreciate the faster pacing that you can create by doing it. Others think that time travel is best when only used to move 1 or 2 days at a time if you're using it to help complete a task that you're working on. And others feel that time travel kills the spirit of the game and should be avoided at all costs. Like everything else we'll cover in this video, time travel is a very personal decision, and I view it as a tool that's available but not essential. There are a multitude of reasons for and against it, but what it all boils down to is you. Your personal desire for how you believe you will best experience this game. So, I encourage you to take some time to really get to know yourself as a player and to understand what role Animal Crossing plays in your life. If it's something you do casually to pass the time and create fun and goofy memories, then time travel may not be right for you. If it's a creative outlet that you use to explore and express yourself through how you develop your island, then perhaps time travel is essential. What's important is that we support each other in doing what we all feel is best for ourselves. This game is not meant to be a competition. Don't make it into one by harassing other players because they choose to play differently than you. One topic that I was surprised to see come up on the community post was this idea that dropping off items on a family member's island or on a friend's island before restarting was somehow cheating. The logic seemed to be that by dropping off items and other miscellaneous goods, you're cheating yourself out of fully experiencing the beginning of the game. Personally, I'm a little shocked by this being considered cheating because I feel like it's actually a perfectly valid and logical way to play Animal Crossing. You're connecting with your family and friends, the people who you care about and love. You're making, hopefully, warm and happy memories by helping each other out and supporting each other's journeys within this game. That, to me, is a core reason that this game exists as it does, to help us to connect to who we love and care about. Anything you do that helps you feel connected to another person, in my mind, I just can't qualify that as cheating or as a bad way to play the game. That's kind of the whole point. Pretty much unanimously, what everyone seemed to agree qualified as cheating in this game is when you try to scam or harm another player. Regrettably, I have heard a lot of horror stories of this happening on websites such as Nookazon, which isn't necessarily Nookazon's fault. And absolutely, lying to another player, stealing from another player, writing or saying something hurtful to another player must not be tolerated within this community. There is no room for malicious action, and it is never appropriate or necessary. Kindness wins. Always. Do what you can to protect yourself, especially with so much of the community being active on social media. But even more importantly, don't be someone others need to protect themselves from. It's not a good look. Learn to do better. Now, stepping off of my little soapbox, there is one other topic I'd like to touch on: the economic market that has sprouted up around this game. What are y'all's thoughts? Because despite the reality that some of us do pay real money to use treasure islands, or we grind to spend and trade bells and Nook Mile tickets on in-game items, how does this financial economy affect your experience with the game? Does it make sense to you that people are making real money off of virtual things, or that people are charging obscene amounts of Nook Mile tickets and bells for specific hot ticket villagers? I don't really know how I feel about all of it, but I think it's an important topic for us to discuss as a community. Let me know your thoughts, remember to be kind and respectful in the comments, and thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, bye!